So, not the back day that you may have expected. Today is going to be a video about the cardio. So, yesterday would have been back day, right? And then, my schedule with uploading is I'll edit and upload the video the day after. But for whatever reason, I don't think it'll be a good lift. Felt kind of dehydrated, kind of tired, which typically isn't enough for me to, say, okay, I'm not going to go in. Right? Usually, I'm pretty much, even if I kind of feel a little trash, I'll still go in for the daily lift. But every so often, I'll take the rest day. Every so often. So I'm not just going to skip over the back day, of course. Right. Really, the whole lifting routine just got put on a 1-day delay. So now, so I'm going to do back later tonight. Speaking of that, I've been getting a little bit curious about doing back and buys again. It's been a while since I've done buys with back. Right, that was back when I was doing like a push-pull leg split. So that was the pull day. But I keep seeing clips of Mike Mentzer talking about how just fucking seriously hyping up underhand close grip pull downs for biceps. So that would be, you put the normal bar on the lat pull down. You sit like normal. Instead of reaching really wide over here, shoulder width ish, you're going pretty much as close as your hands can get underhand. And I did add a little bit last time I was at the gym, really light, just like a cable stack. And I could definitely feel how that would be a good set if you really try to bias your biceps instead of your back. But I wouldn't want to do those on an arm day because then I'm going to get some back activation. So I think for the next couple of days I'm going to try to change up the split a little bit and see if I like it. So rather than do the normal legs, chest, back, arms, what I'm going to try and do is back and buys, right? Chest, tries and hamstrings, and then quads on their own. So that pretty much hits every muscle group in 4 days, the same as the split that I've been doing, but it lets me hit quads on their own like I like, and may let me try out this new kind of bicep training. And obviously if I do it and then it feels like shit, I'll just go back to my normal split, whatever. The last thing you want to do is get stuck in the exact same routine. And even worse, if you kind of start to, think that you may have a better way of doing it, right? Like let's say you've been doing, way too much volume, right? Let's say your workout for each muscle. So let's say you have a chest and tries day. Right? If your workout has 20 sets of chest total, so across bench, flies, pec deck, whatever, if that all adds up to like 20 sets, that's not, that's a bit more than you actually need. In my opinion, if your sets are intense, you can have a good workout with 6. Right? I would probably, I feel comfortable doing a workout of like 6 sets if I've got to cut it short. Now, I kind of prefer 11 right now, but I'm open to new ideas and change. I've definitely been hearing a lot of lower volume, high intensity talk going about. So if I think something will work better than what I'm doing, of course I'm going to want to try it out. But like I was saying, even worse than just sticking to the same routine would be, kind of thinking that maybe you want to try something new, but being, too afraid to change it up. Because let's say maybe you've got a couple of gains or, a couple pounds of mass from doing what you've been doing. It may be kind of hard to conceptualize in your mind, like, oh, maybe I should try something else when what you're doing has been working. but I try to, well, maybe not so much as of late. I've been doing this split for, I think, approaching a year, maybe even a little bit longer. But it's been working out really well. But I'm starting to kind of get an itch to change it up a little bit. It's not like I'm not going to be able to stimulate growth by doing the same split, but I kind of want to try some new stuff. Obviously, this isn't going to be that new. The chest day is going to be the exact same. The quad, like the workouts are going to be pretty much the same. But main point I'm trying to say is don't be afraid to try new things and kind of put a little bit of time into it. Just because you try a new split or a new workout, you're not going to fucking see the results from it in a week. If somebody explains to you with enough articulately put terms and words, a whole workout plan, and you're like, oh shit, that's starting to sound right. That makes sense to me. And you actually, let's say you do it for a week, you're not going to fucking see the difference from what you've been doing the months or years before. You got to actually stick to it for a couple of months. But I guess kind of the second point I'm trying to make is trying shit out for yourself and seeing what works for you is going to be the quickest method to at least approach a training style that's going to get you, the results that you want. Right? It's like a fucking what's the word I'm thinking of? Like if you just listen to what somebody tells you, or you listen to some kind of workout video, sure they can be fucking pretty smart. A lot of them can give you pretty good information on like where you should aim in terms of your workouts and whatever else. But that's just a very broad like push in one direction. It's up to you to kind of start to maybe lean towards, whatever way, fucking hitting everything twice a week, 10-ish sets per body part, get a pump, blah, blah, blah. But then you've got to look at the gains you've made, kind of assess whether or not you thought what you've been doing is effective, and maybe make changes based on that, right? And then instead of just aiming towards this like broad area, which may be effective or may not be for you, right? You should gradually kind of make adjustments until you get to a solid path of progress. A little bit of a ramble, but plan for the cardio, which you should all be doing, all extra. So 30% of you say you do it. If I'm being honest, I bet half of those are half of you guys are lying when you said you did it in that study. Uh, so maybe if I'm being generous, 20% of you guys actually do your cardio on a consistent basis. It's just fucking good for you, man. I'll get into it a little bit afterwards during the post cardio pose down, but my primary, my preferred method of cardio is going to be going in, getting on the seated bike. I think it's a Life Fitness bike, so any Life Fitness thing, you'll be able to take these numbers into consideration. But I'll put the difficulty on 10. That's just like a little paddle, which can change the amount of force that you're putting into the pedals. And then I go at a speed where I burn about 10 calories a minute. So that's what the machine says. Whether or not that's true, whatever. I still ended up breaking a solid sweat by the end of it. So 30 minutes, 10 calories a minute. That means the machine's going to say 300 by the end. So by then I should have some solid sweat marks, and we'll talk about it a little bit further. There we go. So 30 minutes of pedaling on the seated bike have passed. I got a decent amount of sweat going, mainly on the back. Right, but I mean, I'm not dying like I did a fucking sprint. All it was, steady state. I don't really, the one I was on, like it's got the heartbeat readers. I don't think they were fucking right. But, you'd probably want it, I forget the ranges. There's like different zones of cardio that people talk about. It's like zone 1, whatever, I don't know. I'll get to a point where, yeah, I don't know, maybe around 140, 150, something like that. I don't know. I don't really focus on like, the heartbeat. Really, I'm thinking about making sure I got 10 calories per minute. So the level, like the difficulty level is a 10. So I gotta make sure I pedal enough to keep up with that rate. And then halfway through, I start sweating, kind of breathing a bit heavier than normal throughout. But that's all you gotta do. The whole time I was just playing on my phone, like it went by like nothing. So let's see what we're looking like unpumped. So that was not fasted cardio either. I had a shake earlier and some cereal. So.
Attention YMCA staff, we are paging Amy to the welcome desk. Amy to the welcome desk. Thank you.
Looks like Amy's in trouble. But, yeah, had some fucking cereal, had a shake. So a solid amount of carbs. I'm at like, I don't know what. I can't check my phone now while it's recording, but I think like 1,400 calories. So I'll go home, probably eat another 2 meals. Not sure what they're gonna be. I don't know. Probably another 200 grams of carbs at least. And then, however much protein is gonna go along with that. But, I wouldn't want to do my cardio more than, or less than like, if I'm really cutting it short, like if I had to do an early lift, then I would say I want at least 3 hours of time in between doing this cardio right now and when I actually start weight training. So the best case scenario would be cardio in the morning and then just go throughout go through your whole fucking day and then lift in the evening. That's what I like the most. Because you're not gonna lift right in the morning because you're not gonna be fucking full. You're just gonna end up, what's the word I'm thinking of? Well, the opposite of full, you're gonna be flat. So, oh my goodness. Yeah, I'd rather eat at least like 3 or 4 meals pre-lift before I actually, try to get a pump. But for cardio, there's no difference between doing it fed or fasted. You just gotta you really just have to do it. So let's go through a couple poses and then we can get in the car and go back to the house. All right, that's probably enough. So compare those back poses to, the pump from tomorrow. Well, the back day, which I'm gonna do tonight, but post tomorrow. And then that should be a pretty good representation of just how much, a pump will inflate my back. But that's pretty much all I gotta fucking say, man. It was not difficult to get that cardio done. Now, if you don't do your cardio ever, it's gonna seem like it's gonna be fucking hard. For one thing, it just kind of has a stigma of, being difficult. But you also have to drive to the gym. It's probably like if I'm really quick about it, maybe a 40-minute commitment. But I'll just get in the car and get back to the house. All right, so I did not bring a, post-workout cluster dextrin shake. This wasn't really a workout, but sometimes I'll do those after cardio. It's just it's like 600 calories down the hatch, but instead, 34 grams of carbs worth of apple juice from the vending machine. Just a little bit of a jump start of the replenishment of my intramuscular glycogen, if you want to get real technical. So, cardio, whatever, good for you. You'll be leaner on a bulk. You'll get leaner on a cut. It's easier to eat more food because it's going to improve your digestion. Pretty simple stuff. And it's, for the most part, things that are difficult are the things that are actually going to be beneficial for you. So it makes sense that you guys wouldn't want to do your cardio. Not agreeing with your lifestyle choice by not doing it, but I'm not your dad. You do whatever the hell you want. So one thing that kind of annoys me, this is really just like a personal annoyance. It's the nomenclature that people use when they describe exercises during their lifts. Like, I'll hear somebody say, like, they say this exact term, and it really just kind of confuses me. It's like, how many workouts should I do for chest? How many chest workouts should I do in one lift? Like, what they mean is exercises, but they're calling the exercises workouts. Like, you're not a power lifter. You're not going to do a bench workout, right? In a bodybuilding context, I'm not saying this is the way to talk about this. I'm just going to say what I like. So, a workout, or for me, when I talk about shit, a workout includes whatever I hit that day. So, today is going to be back and buys. So, I'm going to have a back workout and a bicep workout. But combined, it's a back and buys workout, right? Now, splitting it up into different sections, I'm going to do different movements, different exercises. So I may do 2 or 3 sets of lat pull downs. I may do 2 or 3 sets of seated cable rows. I may do a few sets of pullovers. Those are not individual workouts. Those are just, sets. And for me and Mike's, style of training, all those sets for each body part is going to add up to 11. Probably anywhere from 7 to 12 is going to be a good workout as long as each set was hard. But 11 just feels right for me. You do whatever feels good for you. But by the time I've done 11 sets of back total, so if I do 2 sets of pullovers, if I do 2 sets of pull downs, 3 sets of rows, 4 sets of pullovers, and then maybe 2 more sets of machine pull downs or something, whether or not that added up to 11, I don't know, whatever. Once I hit 11 sets, as long as they were hard, for the most part, I feel like I've done enough, and then I'll move on. So, the overarching little layers of, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Specificity of the lift is like the widest one is, what the workout is about, back and buys. And then for each muscle group, I can do a certain number of whatever exercises and movements, and do a couple sets of each, and then by the time I'm fully pumped, I'll move on to the next body part. Or if I was only doing one body part that day, that'll be it. So maybe I'm just being an asshole, but I hate when someone says they're going to do a chest workout. Or no, they say like, oh, I'm going to do a pec deck workout, and then I'm going to do a bench workout. I don't know, it just doesn't, just rubs me the wrong freaking way. But, whatever. Maybe I'll just be an asshole. So, plan for back tonight, well, later today. Can do back first, then I'll move on to buys. And I definitely want to try some close grip. Some close grip underhanded pull downs for biceps. I'm very interested in how that's going to feel during actual working sets. Because I've done underhand rows before, underhand like machine rows, with a pendulum arm, right? And I don't know, just the way I did it, my biceps were so fatigued that the next day I didn't want to do. I had arms planned for the next day, so I skipped buys entirely because there's no point in working a muscle when it's legitimately sore like that. So I'm starting to think that old Mr. Menser knew what he was talking about, at least when it comes to that specific thing. But again, with all my lifts, I kind of play it by ear. If Like, I don't have a workout book where I'm reading, like, you know, even though I come up with my own shit, I don't even write my own workouts and then follow them later. And I don't really track my lifts so I can, make sure I know I'm getting stronger with progressive overload and whatnot. Because, those things only, like, in a bodybuilding context, like, obviously progressive overload is important, right? If you want to get bigger, you've also got to get stronger. That's I think that's a I don't think that's a questioned idea, but it's not so important that I think you have to nitpick it so closely by tracking every workout and everything. I mean, if you want to, whatever. I just don't. I'm not into it. Like, you're not going to catch me writing down my sets in a training notebook. I have a general idea of how strong how strong I am on any particular movement, and if every workout, you really push each set hard, and in the beginning when you're fresh and strong, obviously you do as much weight as you can do. Just by following those two constraints, you're going to get stronger over time. It's it's no assuming you eat at least maintenance and you sleep well, you've got no choice but to get at least a tad bit stronger after pushing yourself to legitimate failure on a couple of sets. So that's part of the reason why I like doing sets where I really try to push the weight in the beginning of the workout, just because I think it's a stimulus which is actually going to get you some results. I would not want to do so. I could do an entire chest workout, and sometimes when I'm hurt, I do them like this. Like, let's say my shoulder's fucked up or something, or whatever. Like, let's say I literally cannot push heavy weight for some period of time. Can't do it, right? That doesn't mean I want to just let my chest fucking fade away into nothing. I still want to get as much activation of it as I can, even if I'm recovering from some kind of injury. So I've done chest workouts where the whole thing was just flies and very light cable presses, and I still got a fucking huge pump. But that's not a workout where you're actually going to grow in the long term, because it's not very difficult. You're not really giving yourself any damage to have to recover from just from pumping up a muscle. So I usually do say, or I'll judge a lift based on how good the pump was at the end, but that's not the end all be all indicator that the lift was good, right? Because I could sit in the fucking in my basement with a little 10 to 50 pound dumbbell rack, and I could just sit there doing you know curls with the 20s, and then going back and forth with kickbacks with the 20s, and I could probably have a fucking freaky arm pump. But that's not the kind of lift that's going to make you grow. You've really got to push yourself in terms of the amount of tension that you got on your muscles. That's how I feel about it anyway. So, basic point is, I don't have anything written out, but I've lifted for long enough that I pretty much know what kind of lifts and exercise choices are going to give me a good pump. And then, well, obviously, that I'll also be really strong on and get sore from. And then also translate to, making some progress. So I've only got a vague idea of how the lift is going to go before I get there. And then, once I'm actually in the gym and warming up, I probably get influenced by, how my little warm-up sets feels, or if I've got some kind of nagging something or other somewhere. Like, let's say maybe, like, I've never had a lower back problem, but let's say for you, your lower back is just fucked. Maybe you're going to want to stay away from, bent over barbell rows or heavy cable rows. And you should stick more so towards, chest supported shit or just pull downs. There's no specific workout that's exactly perfect for everybody. And there's no one specific workout which is going to be, seriously beneficial for you to just repeat and repeat and repeat over and over again. You got to change it up, hit your shit from different angles, different ways, and then but in all cases, with as much intensity as you can muster. So I'm gonna go home, eat a bunch of food, take a nap on the couch, and then we'll get some back and buys going tonight. I will see you next time.